how to make a mouth-watering pizza cake. Who doesn't love to celebrate birthdays and other special occasions with cakes generously covered in frosting? Sometimes, though, sweet isn't necessarily the best way to go. Enter the pizza cake, a multi-layered tower of dough, tomato sauce, meats, and oodles of gooey cheese. If the buzz is to be believed, pizza cake is the best thing since sliced bread. After all, a single slice is awesome by itself already. Stack them up about 8 layers deep, and you multiply the awesomeness. To taste what the fuss is all about, follow these steps on how to make a mouth-watering pizza cake. 1. Before anything else, you need an oven-safe pot. Ideally, it should be about 6 to 8 inches in diameter and 4 inches deep. The depth is important, as the top of your pizza cake has to be at just about the same level as the pot's rim. You can also use a springform pan with similar dimensions, but you'll have to be more careful about burning the bottom. To keep the pizza from sticking to the sides, you can use some nonstick spray or parchment paper. 2. For the dough, you need 4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2½ cups of warm water, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, 3 teaspoons of sugar, 1½ teaspoons of salt, and 1 tablespoon of dry yeast. For the topping, prepare 1½ cups of pizza sauce, 2 cups of grated cheese. Combine mozzarella with sharp cheddar for an extra gooey texture, 2 cups of pepperoni, and your choice of other toppings, e.g. onion, bell pepper, pineapple, etc. 3. Activate the yeast first. Combine with sugar in a small bowl and add warm water. 4. Sift the flour into a large bowl. Stir in the yeast mixture and olive oil. Mix until combined. 5. Dust your kneading surface with some flour and work the dough for about 10 minutes until it becomes smooth and elastic. You should be able to pull it into a thin film without breaking it. Roll the dough into a ball, put it back in the bowl, cover with some cling wrap, and set it on a warm, draft-free area to let it rise. 6. After 2 hours, retrieve your dough. It should have doubled in size by now thanks to the yeast. Punch the dough down. After lightly dusting your kneading surface with some flour, take the dough out of the bowl and lightly knead to push the air out. Divide into 8 balls. 7. Put 2 balls back into the bowl and cover. With a rolling pin, roll the 6 remaining balls into sheets just slightly larger than the diameter of your pot or pan. They'll be about 1/4 inch thick. Take your pan and use the rim to cut out 6 rounds of dough. 8. Stack the rounds in a baking pan. Sprinkle some flour between each round to prevent sticking, and let them rise for 15 minutes. 9. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit while the dough is rising. 10. Pop the baking pan into the oven for 15 minutes. Take it out of the oven, but keep the oven on at the same temperature. Remove the layers and let the rounds cool a bit. 11. In the meantime, get ready for layering. Take your pot or pan and line the sides and bottom with parchment paper, or spray generously if that's what you are using. 12. Take the 2 balls of dough you set aside earlier and roll them out into a long rectangular sheet about 1/4 inch thick. Use it to line the sides of your pot, leaving the bottom completely uncovered. To easily get your dough into the perfect size, roll it out into a log shape first, then flatten with the pin. 13. With the sides of the pot covered with fresh dough, take 1 sheet of the pre-baked dough round and place it on the bottom. Layer with pizza sauce, cheese, pepperoni, and greens. Continue until you have used up all your pre-baked dough rounds. 14. Before adding the last layer of pizza toppings, remember to remove the excess dough from around the top of the pan and crimp the edges to make it look nice and neat. 15. Bake for 25 minutes at 400 degrees. If you are using a springform pan, you may need to set the oven shelf a little higher from the oven floor to keep the dough from burning. 16. Remove from oven after 25 minutes and let it cool for about 5 minutes before removing from the pot. Serve and enjoy. The trickiest part in figuring out how to make a mouth-watering pizza cake is getting the dough to toppings ratio right. If 6 layers of dough seems too much for you, just leave out 1 or 2 balls of dough when making your pre-baked dough rounds for a smaller but just as tasty end product. Bonus suggestion: repurpose the extras into breadsticks. Roll and cut into sticks, brush with olive oil, top generously with crushed garlic and Parmesan, and bake for 5 to 7 minutes.